Getting to know another Texans draft pick and why this guy, if recent history plays out, may have an opportunity to make some noise. Let's get to know Marcus Harris live in the locker room.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room.
Heading into the draft, defensive lineman, it was one of the most frequently mentioned positions when you talked about the biggest needs for the Houston Texans. Now, some may have disagreed, but defensive line appeared to be a big need to the point where it was probably in the top two of most popular answers as to what the Texans should select with their first pick. They didn't end up doing that. In fact, they waited till near the end of the draft to pick a defensive tackle, and we're going to get to know him in a second and talk about why he may have an opportunity to make some real noise if recent history is any indication. It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 Central, Sports Radio 610 in the Odyssey app, and you can also see me right here on YouTube during that time as well. Let's hear from the man himself, Marcus Harris, out of Auburn, 5-year college player, 2 years at Kansas, 7 sacks last year at Auburn, the only defensive tackle that the Texans select in the draft. Let's hear from him, and I'm going to tell you why he may actually have a massive opportunity to surprise some people and make some noise if recent history is any indication. Here's Marcus Harris with the Houston Media Types.
Kiss Aaron Wilson from KPRC NBC Houston. Congratulations on being drafted by the Texans.
I appreciate it.
Marcus, how would you describe your style of play, your mentality as trying to be a disruptive interior guy? We saw you had some sack production. I have a follow-up.
Yeah, follow-up.
I say I'm a physical, hard-working D lineman that likes to get up the field and make plays behind the line of scrimmage.
Did you have a lot of contact with the Texans during the draft process, like a visit or a Zoom or combine or anything like that? And what other teams, if any, did you visit? Thank you.
I didn't take any top 30 visits. I did a couple of Zoom calls, but no Zoom calls with the Texans. We had meeting at the combine, like 2 or 3 meetings at the combine, but that's about it. But no top 30 visits.
Cole.
Hey, Marcus, Cole Thompson, USA Today's Texans Wire. Congratulations on getting drafted and welcome to Houston, my man. Want to get your thoughts on playing in the SEC. You know, so many people have called it the minor leagues of the NFL. What is playing against competition like Alabama, Georgia, especially at a school like Auburn where it's a consistent, you see those players get drafted highly every single round. What does that do for you to translate to that next level of the game?
That just shows me that I can do it at the next level. Like you said, I feel like the SEC is the hardest division in college. So if I can do it there, I feel like I can do it at the next level too with the resources and the coaching staff that I have with the Houston Texans. So, but just playing the SEC just give me a lot of experience against NFL talent, NFL personnel. So it get me prepared for the NFL. So I think playing the SEC was huge for me.
And then you got to see for a few years playing against him in the Iron Bowl, Will Anderson. When you look now at him and what he was able to do last year, how excited are you to be able to call him a teammate?
Man, I'm so excited to be able to call him a teammate. I've seen firsthand how disruptive he is. During the Iron Bowl, we had played those guys. So can't wait to line up beside him and help him get better as well.
Brian Bearfield.
Hey, Marcus, welcome to Houston, man. Brian Bearfield, Big Sarge Media, but everybody just called me Sarge. So around here, you can just call me Sarge once you get here.
Yes, sir.
So you made first team All SEC last year, correct?
Yes, sir.
But a lot of people thought that coming into Auburn, you were going to be a sleeper. Did you set out to prove people wrong when you first got there?
Yes, sir. I feel like that's one of my one of my things I carry on my shoulders. That's a big chip I carry on my shoulder, trying to prove everybody wrong. And even now when I come to Texas, just trying to show everybody that I'm an NFL player, I can fit in and play in defense and make plays in NFL as well as I did in college. So just having that chip on my shoulders, I think is going to do good for me. Going to be very good for me.
And I know that this is a big day for you, but how big is it for you to set the example for your younger brother who's playing ball at Auburn? You know, you're showing him that the dreams can be achieved with you getting drafted on today.
Right. I think just him seeing that firsthand just giving him a reality check that he can do the same thing that I did. You know, we grew up in the same house, ate the same food, played the same games. So I'm knowing he thinks in his mind that he can do the same thing, get drafted higher, better than I did. So just being that person that he can look up to and can look up to, I feel like is a good thing for me.
Who's better, you or him?
Me, of course. Me, of course.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we'll go Aaron and Cole to wrap it up.
Hey, Marcus, when you think about the type of matchups you had, who was one of the more difficult guys that you were able to compete with and beat on the field as far as like linemen?
I would say LSU had a pretty good O-line. Their two guards were pretty good. And Alabama had a pretty good offensive line group. I can't single out anybody in particular, but those two teams had a pretty good offensive line group as a whole.
Did Killian tell you anything about what it was like to play for the Texans? Have you ever talked to him since he's been here?
No, sir. I haven't talked to him yet.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. No problem.
All right, last one for Cole.
Marcus, I know that you are a proud Auburn alum, but are you excited or a little nervous to be playing for an Alabama guy like D'Amico Ryans?
I'm excited to play for him. You know, he's a defensive-minded coach, attacking style defense, and he's just a great personality to have. And I think he's from Alabama too, if I'm not mistaken. So he's from Alabama. I'm from Alabama, so I feel like we'll get together very good.
He's from Bessemer. I also want to get your opinion on just D'Amico in general. Having a guy that played in the NFL and retired less than a decade ago has translated to being a coach. What does that do for you to be able to have kind of that trust factor of somebody that's been in your shoes, gone through the ropes, been through these training camps, and kind of understands what it takes to be successful at the professional level?
I feel like that means a lot, you know, having a coach that's been through the same thing you have been through and have been through the practices, the long meetings and everything that you have been to, so he can kind of understand where you're coming from better than some of the other coaches that may have not played football before, may not have played at NFL level. So I feel like that's a huge advantage. And then him being a great defensive player while he was in the league, not just any defensive player, he was a good defensive player. And just translating that to him being a good coach, just see how he take his craft seriously, like not just want to be a great football player, but also want to be a great DC. Now he's a great head coach, and just seeing the steps he's took in his life and his journey is just exciting to me.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Marcus. Congrats again.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
All right, there you go. That's Marcus Harris. Seems like a good dude. Now, why did he fall in the draft despite being first-team SEC? Some will say size. A little bit older, going to be 24 when the season starts. As far as PFF put up a graphic, 87.4 run defense grade in 2023. That's first among SEC DTs. And if you look at recent history of the Houston Texans and late or undrafted guys at D tackle, some of those in the Caserio era even have kind of hung around. Roy Lopez, he hung around for a couple of years. He was drafted late, and Kurt Heinisch, undrafted, he's still hanging around as well. So there always tends to be those defensive linemen, defensive tackles that hang around. And, oh, by the way, it's also not looked at as one of the stronger positions. So if you can stop the run, you can give the effort, you can be coachable. Fellow Alabama native D'Amico Ryans might be able to do something with you, along with defensive line coach Matt Burke. So Marcus Harris, it wasn't as soon as a lot of people would hope that a defensive lineman, defensive tackle would be drafted by the Texans, but it happened. And if the layout of the roster in recent history is any indication, he could be one of those guys that surprises you. Be sure to subscribe, like, ride along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Thanks for coming by, checking out the locker room. Listen to me 10 to 2 Central, Sports Radio 610, Odyssey app right here on YouTube.
Locker room, Texas talk, yeah, you know what we do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We